Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Beauty Dharma Summit. And I am with the most fabulous sweetheart of all, the unusual creature, Sophia Tatum. Yay! Hello, gorgeous. How are you?
Doing good. And how are you doing?
I am doing well. I am so happy. So, Sophia is Stacy Hyduk's daughter, and also Brad Tatum's daughter, hence the name.
Yeah, right.
Her husband. And I have known Sophia before she even came to this world. So being her mom's dear friend and kind of knowing that journey. And I think the last time I saw you, you were probably, I don't know, 6, 7.
The last memory I have of you, Leslie, is you were in a Volkswagen Bug and we were getting C's candy at the Westfield Mall. And that's all I remember.
Oh my God.
That's what I remember.
Such an awesome memory.
Yeah, I don't remember how long ago that was, but that memory is like stuck in my brain that you wanted C's candy. And I was just like, yes, C's candy.
Oh my God.
White Volkswagen Bug that you had rented. And
yes, it was my rental car. That is so true.
I loved the car. And I was like adoring it. I'm just like, this is so cool. Wait, I don't remember how old I was.
Oh my God. I don't know. You were a little thing. And I remember, yes. So I remember you then. And I think that was the last time that I saw you. You were so cute. And now she's just blossomed into this gorgeous woman. And so here we are. And so Sophia is a model. Now she has transitioned into acting. She's also a phenomenal photographer and, and just a beautiful, beautiful soul. So I want to thank you for being here. And yes. And so our first question, Sophia, is what does beauty mean to you?
Oh gosh, the hard ones. Mooka. Sorry, my cat's going crazy. Ah,
I love him.
Oh, baby, stay there. I just got her. She's just a love bucket.
Yes.
What does beauty mean to me? Well, I feel like you really can't define what beauty is because it means so many things to different people. But beauty to me, in a sense, I feel like it's just undefined. It captures so many things. It's an inner beauty that I think I strive to be more of, and also what I find most beautiful in people is their souls and who they sort of hide away a little bit. Like I want to pick at their self in a sense. Like you can be a beautiful person, but you can have sort of an ugly soul and it's not as attractive, I think. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like it's definitely what inside counts. And I know everybody says that, and maybe it's a cliche thing to say, but it's so right and so on point with it that it's hard not to take what people say to heart, that yeah, it doesn't matter what you look like, it's what inside counts. And I think that's 100% right, because beauty you just have so many things that define beauty. And I don't know, but yeah, I just feel it's definitely more inside than what your exterior can person or say in that sense. So yeah, that answers any of the question you asked.
Absolutely. It's been the common thread, and someone can be it's almost, oh my gosh, the different speakers of course have kind of like, had that common thread, and it's really it's like an energy, it's this,
I think so,
aliveness that
there's this light inside of you that I find so beautiful when I meet somebody. It's when you look into somebody's eyes and you feel happy to be around them. And it's sometimes a very rare thing, I think, especially being in entertainment businesses where people want to put on a facade and make sure that they look perfect all the time and they're always happy and always put together. But that's not what life is. Life is messy. Life is all over the place. And so when you meet somebody that's open and also the confidence that they know themselves, I think confidence is beauty. Because when I meet somebody that's knows themselves so well, it's so attractive and so beautiful, and you just want to be around that more. And yeah, the person might be a gorgeous woman or a gorgeous man, but it's still that innate thing inside of them, that light that shines through, that's so attractive to so many people, and also makes you feel safe and wanted and warm and all those factors that we like, and you just want to be around it more. So yeah.
Absolutely. And it's so true. And, you know, I think you're kind of wise beyond your years a lot of times, or
I don't know about that, but I don't know.
To have that depth. But where do you think, you know, because we were talking about your parents as well, and you were talking about, you know, like being in the business and having parents that love you. They're both in the business too. Yeah. But, you know, I've worked with actually quite a few child actors, and, you know, some of them are just a hot mess, like, and then they turn in hot mess adults as well. And I really, you know, a lot of times I would see that, and my heart would, you know, I would feel, because they were, you know, it was a job. Like, they weren't able to be children when they were children. And if you have parents that aren't really great parents, then you got to shave your head and go crazy at some point in your life, right?
You got to do that rebellion stage, every
child. Absolutely. So how has that been for you in the film business?
Having my parents in it, you mean?
Yeah, and just like that sense of, you know, guidance, I'm assuming, or security, or.
For sure. I know that my parents definitely strove to make sure that they knew I was loved and wanted. And I think that really, really helped in just every aspect of my life. Just knowing that I could always count on them no matter what. Like, I never felt alone. Like, I always knew I had a support system. I always knew that I was cared for. And if I had a problem, or if I was so depressed and not in love with myself, that I could go to them and they could steer me in the right direction. And they give the best advice known to man. So I'm just like, thank God that I got really good parents, because I feel like I'd be a complete and utter mess if I didn't. But yeah, I don't really know any different than not growing up in some form of the business, but it wasn't the constant, like, you're in the spotlight 24/7. There were working actors constantly, and they're struggling, but also you see the struggle, you see the success, you see how happy they get. So it's more of a raw depiction of being in the industry, I think, a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I saw that nothing really gets handed to you. You got to work for it. You got to want it really badly. And I think that's what they taught me. It's like, just be yourself always, but put 100% in, 100 if you want it. And they just were super supportive of anything I did. So I felt guided and loved and supported in my choices in life, and knew if I messed up, they would be there to support me in that sense. Yeah. So it was always really, really great, because I think a lot of the time, if you don't have a family that has a super loving energy that they give you, it's sometimes hard to get out of that. And a lot of consequences, I think, sometimes come from that as well. And so I'm very, very blessed to have such amazing parents that made sure that I knew that I was loved the entire time I was growing up, and still know that I'm loved. So
that's beautiful. Now, do you come across a lot of people that don't have that?
Mm-hmm.
You do, huh?
Sure. Yeah. I think people that,
like, in your age, do you see that?
I think I do. But then I also see people that have made their own families with friends and other people in workspaces and not. And it's like, even if your family isn't the one that's giving you love, they at least have somebody that is, and they created this wonderful community that supports them and thrives. But I also think there's sometimes maybe a difference between your friendship type of love, and then also having like your true family love, maybe.
Yeah.
But the people that I've come in contact with that don't always have such a loving and supportive family sometimes are way stronger. I don't know if stronger is the word, but they have this innate fire in them that they want to prove, and they want to go out there, and they want to learn and do whatever. I don't know, but I guess there's just different types of love in that sense. But again, it's all I know, to have that support and that love.
Right. Yeah. So there's an old school word that comes to my mind, and it's called Moxie.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that word because it's just like, it's like you just have like this chutzpah, like this. And I think it's kind of me in a way. I'm just like bold enough and stupid enough to just do it.
You gotta have that. You gotta have that jumping into the fray type of thing, no matter what.
That's a little survival, ammunition there.
You up. You have to have that survival instinct. If not,
especially in the business, you gotta have something there.
Stuff eats you alive if you're not careful. You gotta have a good head on your shoulders. You really do. You gotta have priorities straight. You gotta know yourself a bit. You gotta have confidence in yourself, because otherwise you get influenced by too many factors, and then you just lose sight of who you were or who you are, and it can really destroy you. And that's not a good thing to have happen, because anybody is an amazing person, and it always makes me sad when I see people that have lost their way just because they get influenced by what mass media tells them or what the industry might tell them, because you got to have that foundation set in stone in you in the very, very beginning, that you're wanted, you're loved, that you're worth everything, and you have a place in this world. And it's very, very sad when I meet people that don't, and I'm like, but you're so beautiful and you have so much great factors.
So that's my next question that we're going to segue into. And that one is, when did you discover your beauty?
I would say when I was in Atlanta, about 3 months ago, I would say I finally found an innate factor in me of self-love, and I find that beautiful, and actually found that I'm worthy of love and worthy of that and stuff. But yeah, I think I just never really believed people, and I just didn't trust people. And yeah, I get told that I'm beautiful a lot, and it's a lovely factor to have, but sometimes it goes in one ear and out the other, because I don't see it in myself. And so it's hard to take what somebody's telling me and believe it, because I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm weird. I'm not those things. And I feel like people can tell you you're so beautiful, but if you don't believe that you're beautiful, and you don't believe that you're lovable, then it's not going to do anything. And so I think I definitely did find a little bit of that when I was in the Atlanta shooting, because it was such a weird time that I was going into that, and something clicked. And maybe turning 21 and cutting my hair off and just having a drastic change made me find that. But all I know right now is that it's an amazing feeling, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So I hope I continue on that trajectory of self-love and self-beauty.
Oh, it gets better. Trust me.
I'll see.
It totally gets better. I mean, you are in a space at 20. I think 21 is really, it's definitely a pivotal age.
I agree. I completely agree. Because I feel like you're a child one morning, and you're still a child throughout your entire life. But there's something that happened, at least for me, when I turned 21, and the other people that I've talked to when they've turned 21, there's this switch in your brain that feels like everything that anybody's ever told you finally makes sense to you. And you're like, it just starts flooding in all these things, and you're just like, oh, that's what they meant when they said that. That's what they meant when they said this. And it's awesome, because you feel like you have this new power, and you come into like your power in yourself a little bit more so. At least I thought I did. And it's a great feeling, man. It's so nice. It's so nice to trust yourself.
It is. And I think that's, I want to kind of, so you were saying that you were in Atlanta, you were doing a movie that hasn't been released yet, right? And you had a
No,
great part in that, right?
I love my part. It was a very, very fun part.
That's great. And so, being there and you were kind of by yourself, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
we were by ourselves the entire time because of COVID. We had to quarantine for 2 weeks
mm,
when we first got there, and we saw some people, but yeah, we were definitely alone a lot of the time. Until we started shooting, and then you get to be around your castmates and everything, and this gets great. But when you go back to your hotel room, you're still alone. You still have to figure out what to do with yourself for the weekends and the days you have off, and that time you find a lot of self-discovery in those places, because you're like, what am I going to do with myself? I don't know. You really got to look inward to be like, all right, let's figure out this. And I don't know, my brain just is on a constant go sometimes, and when I'm alone I process a lot.
mhm.
And so a lot of stuff was processing during that time, and just a lot of revelations started coming up because of it. And I was just like, whoa, this is amazing. This is what I needed. So
So I know that we were talking a little bit about, and well, gosh, I could kind of go both ways, right? Like we were talking about, and you're saying that you're processing all the time. Is that why you love photography so much too?
I think so. I think I think also because it's like I'm slightly in control of what I want the photo to look like, but I'm also not. So it's this weird thing of like trying to relinquish control, but also still have control to get, hi baby, the picture you want. Um, but yeah, it's definitely cool because, oh baby, girly girl. Okay, honey. But yeah, I think in some ways. Okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I
Very
just,
adventurous.
I love the kitty. I just lost my little man, so
I'm so sorry to hear that.
yeah, he was like 17, so my Maxie went away. So yeah, so I'm like, that's, more kitty, more kitty.
We're kitty, kitty, kitty. Yeah.
Even through Zoom, I'll attract them.
That's awesome. They know that you're a cat lover.
Oh yes. Oh yes. So share with me a little bit about, like, because you started off modeling and then kind of what that was like for you, and now having, that you've decided to retire from modeling, and
Sure.
and
Well, started modeling when I was 14, and I loved it in the beginning. I thought it was incredible. I loved what you got to create with a photographer. I loved that relationship between you two, and you definitely feel beautiful when you get a part on this beautiful dress or cool makeup, and the lighting's awesome, and they capture something in you that's phenomenal, and just this essence that you didn't know you had. And I think that's also what attracted me to photography as well,
Hmm.
is I saw what a photographer could get out of me, and I wanted to do that with other people, because I'm like, you're so beautiful. I want to capture that, and I want you to see that, because sometimes people don't. And it's a really a nice feeling when somebody, like maybe a little bit in a power position, can tell you that. Maybe that's the wrong thing to say, but when somebody else shows you that's not in your family or not in your circle of friends, it's a really warm and lovely feeling. And I wanted to do that for photography, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, 15, and then I did that from 15 to like 20, I would say, modeling-esque. Um, and it was awesome because I got to travel the world. I got to see places when I was super, super young. But at the same time, there's a flip side to it. And if you're not, I didn't have my head on straight, I think, during those times. And it definitely influenced me.
19.
Exactly. But still, the thing is, I think modeling's awesome. I just don't recommend it to anybody until you're 18. Because then I feel like you fully developed, you sort of know yourself a little bit, and then you can go in, and it's better, because when you're so young, you get influenced by other factors that come into play. And I think when I was like 19 as I was just looking for something that was more creative, more where I could be myself, because modeling, it's very much so what do you look like? What does your body look like? And acting's like that as well, but you definitely get a voice, and you have a voice to say something, and you stand for something, and you get to take on this character and really find the niche in it. And I love that side to it. So I just sort of delved into acting, and weirdly enough, I said I never would to my parents. I'm like, no, I'm never going to be an actor. And of course, this is what I'm doing with my life, but whatever happens. But yeah, I just tried acting, fell in love with it, and I loved the way that it made me feel. I loved how I could take a character and put my spin on it, and I just felt way more alive than I did when I was modeling. And so I'm very, very grateful for the experience I had with modeling and that trajectory. But right now, I wouldn't want to do it, because it can be very, very toxic if you're not in a space where you can give something. If you are only getting stuff from it, it's really hard to wake up in the morning and still want to do it. And
share a little bit about that. Like, what do you mean exactly with that?
I mean, more like, it's something my dad had always tells me. It's like, what can you give to the project that you're working on? Not what it can give to you. So it's that vice versa thing, where it's like, when you start thinking of something of you're getting stuff from it, you get this weird toxic thing inside of you that's just like, well, I just want the money, I just want this, I want that, I want that. And it's not like, what are you offering to this? What do you have? And I think I got to a point in modeling where I was just trying to get everything from it and not giving anything, because I felt like I just gave everything. I gave my soul over, I gave everything. And now to acting, it's this relationship between you and your director, you and your co-stars and castmates. And so you're constantly receiving, giving, and going back and forth. And I feel like you feel that more so than with modeling, if that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I think so many people are, and again, social media is probably the helm of narcissism.
I think so.
It's just it because you're trying to create this level of perfection.
Yeah,
that is what you're trying to portray out there in the world. And there's the lack of authenticity, perhaps, or genuineness, or all of those things that which you're saying that you're giving. It's just you're just living in the ego, which is just so lower vibration, versus higher vibration. And it, like you're saying, it is toxic, or it's consuming if you are someone that you were saying again too, like you're kind of selling your soul to the devil, or you're selling your soul because your soul needs more than living down here.
Because again, it's like, you're not good enough. And so you're trying to get other people to tell you how good you are, when initially you need yourself to tell you that. And that's what's going to fill that void, I think, personally. Like, if you have such a good sense of yourself and you have self-love, it's a lot easier to block out those other voices that start coming into play. And that sense of like, oh, I need to fit that cookie cutter mold to be loved and beautiful. And I think a lot of the time, especially on social media, and it's the one factor I do have with it, is you have such young girls and such young guys that think this is beautiful and that they're going to be liked because of it. And so they just sell it in a sense. And it's just like, but it's not, doesn't feel genuine. It just feels like you're trying to be perfect when perfection doesn't exist.
Yeah.
In that sense. And it's,
or to be loved by only physicality.
Yeah. And it's a huge factor. Physicality, for sure. It's what connects us to each other. And then later on, it's what's inside. But I think also that at first attraction is also that little flitter inside of you too. That's that beauty thing that comes out, I think.
Well, and I have to tell you, Sophia, your beauty will only get better as you age. I mean, I honestly feel like, I think women are probably, they're most beautiful, like physically in like, between 34, 35, something like that, because you have like that
Lived.
woman.
Yeah.
You've kind of lost some of the baby fat and that, even though like models, okay, so you get to have a glass of champagne and a biscuit a day, but but you have like this and that essence of what you're saying that you've been building, that you've been growing now starts to kind of come together.
Oh, for sure.
And then after that, we start getting some wrinkles and some things and this and that.
That's also beautiful too, I think.
But it's okay. Yeah.
That's what life is. It's trajectory of this and then it goes like that. But it's nothing, none of it is bad, I think. It's just what life is, and enjoy it as much as possible because it is so short. And I know everybody says that, but it's such a key factor. Enjoy your freaking life.
Life goes by fast if you're having fun, and it's long if you're miserable. So
yes. So try
make
to have
a choice.
Have fun with it. It's really good. It's good when you can.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yes. Well, this has been fun getting to swim and dance with you a little bit.
I'm glad. I'm very, very glad.
Oh, absolutely. It's so wonderful. The next time we see each other is going to be in person for sure.
I hope so. I miss you and I'd love to talk to you in person.
And we'll go get C's candies together.
I'd love it. I'd love it. I'd love it.
I won't tell your mom. I'll bring her back a bottle of wine. She'll be good. There's nothing better than a good red wine and chocolate. Like, life is good.
It works in so many marvelous ways, those two things.
Absolutely. Well, I can't wait to see your film coming out, maybe 2021.
Yeah, 2021 in June, I think it does.
In June, okay. And the name of the film?
It's called Samaritan.
Samaritan. Okay, so everybody needs to watch out for that. And I'm sure there will be quite a few more to come.
Let's hope so. I'm just going with the flow now.
Yes. So I love it. And, you're just a beacon in the sky, my friend. You're just a beautiful light. Yes. And thank you for sharing all of your, stories and insights. And so if you were to share, with people out there that are wanting to get into, the industry, what is a little something that they could take away?
If you want to get in the industry, just do it. Just find a way to do it. Because if that's a dream of yours, I would just say, get over the fear and just go out and try. There's finding agencies, getting headshots, meeting people. It's this whole trajectory. I feel like if it's a dream of yours, you just should do it. I don't know if that's exactly what people want to hear, but it's also definitely trying to get over that fear factor for sure before, and then just doing it. I don't know.
Hey, just like Nike, just do it. Anything you want to do in life, you just have to do it. Because the last thing you want to do.
Don't overthink it. If it's something you really, really want, just try it. At the end of the day, you don't like it, you don't have to do it. But if you love it and it's something that makes you feel good, start taking classes. Go find a class that you like, even if it is on just Zoom or something, just something that's making you feel good about yourself. And taking acting classes are very, very fun and a great way to start, especially to see if you even like that. So that's what I would say in the beginning. And then it leads to other things, and you don't know who you're going to meet in those classes. And all that.
It's a very small industry.
It's a very small community. You just got to get into the community, and once you do, you find it's very, very small.
Yeah. So,
but very wide, but like small.
Well, I have to say now, which is a whole other conversation, but like with Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, and like it's blown up the industry in such a different way than it used to be now. So I feel like so many cool projects have the opportunity to.
So many cool opportunities. Like I even know that now people cast on Instagram too. If they like your look, they'll take you. It's just, it's sometimes weird timing stuff, and it just explodes in this amazing way. And it just got to be open and ready to receive it. I guess it's just weird. The industry is just weird how it happens sometimes, I think. And it's just, once you're in, it's this world ride of opportunity and loveliness. And
it is. And that's the thing. It is momentum. Like life is momentum. It really is. And I think one thing that just kind of came to my mind is because you're clear, like you said, you're clear. And when you're clear, you're able to see and feel opportunities when they come along.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a weird thing when it's like what everybody says. It's like when you're not looking for love, love finds you. It's sort of the same thing. It's like when you're not so much freaking pressure to be something or do it. Once you're living your life and enjoying it, I think also, which I go back to always, is like when you have that self-love for yourself, and when you have that thing of like, whatever happens, and I'm going to be okay. You sort of start receiving these weird miracles that come into your life. And if you have just that open persona, it just gets flooded with things that you wanted and you dreamed of. And it could be things that you didn't think in the time that that's what it was going to be, but then it turned out to be what you actually needed. And so it's just, I also think just enjoy your life as much as freaking possible, because once you start enjoying it, wonderful things start happening to you. And at least that's what I've experienced in my life. And it's super duper hard to say because life brings us down a lot, and we have to work really, really hard to get back up into the feeling of wanting to live again, in a sense, but finding those things that make you really, really happy. And then you just start opening yourself up to more possibilities, and it just takes off.
That's it.
I don't know. Me and my 21 years, that's what I've come up with.
Well, it's pretty freaking deep, sister.
Awesome. That's what it is.
I love it. I love it. It is just so beautiful, and it's the common thread. And you've discovered at such a young age what has taken us decades and decades to discover. So by sharing all of that beauty is just, it is. And it starts with self-love.
I think it really does. It really does. Anything I've learned, it's a huge factor. You gotta love yourself. You're all you got for how long you live. People will come and go, but yourself is gonna stick around. Know that, baby. It's a good one. I promise.
It is so true. It is so true. Spoken from Sophia Tatum and the Dalai Lama and Buddha.
All of them.
All of you guys just heard that. It is so true. We're born alone, we die alone. I mean, it is, we are all we have, and we have to care for it. So yeah, the sacred vessel.
It's just a beautiful vessel.
So much. Thank you so much for watching Beauty Dharma, and we will see you on the next one. Bye.